So I think ad networks, because they have so many different players, the value can be allocated.
And I guess I'd question the value of that impression. It's all about volume, and when you're using an ad network, you don't know a lot about the person viewing it. There's very little contextual link to the actual content or the viewer. You don't know who they are. Now
that's why we have Matt.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting better, but certainly up to now, is it just throwing good money after? Is it just throwing money away when you really aren't targeting as well as we should be able to with ad networks?
So we are ad network, so I have to disagree
I thought you would.
On all the points. Actually, some of them. I think there are a couple of sub issues here. I think one is that you guys have pointed out is this idea of channel conflict, right? So this idea of, are you really diluting the value of your direct sales force, right? And that is a great point, because there are some ad networks that do allow, and we don't allow it, that do allow site targeting and site-based reporting. What that means is that advertisers come to an ad network and say, hey, I like to target site A and site A only. And the ad network says, done, you can do that. And that becomes a problem with the publisher, because chances are the advertiser buying direct from a publisher will be more expensive. So this undercuts the pricing of the publisher, no doubt. There are a number of ad networks out there that, in fact, I would probably say that more and more ad networks have actually realized that and don't allow that. So I think that's one issue. I think the other issue that ad networks are able to allow that individual publishers can offer, that individual publishers can't offer to advertisers, is targeting and optimization, for the exact reason that ad networks, by virtue, actually have a bigger footprint than an individual publisher. So this is where, for example, guys like us come into play, is we don't allow advertisers to target by site, but we do allow a lot of levers for them to target behaviorally. So if you think about P&G or General Mills or any one of those guys who are not necessarily looking for someone to buy a roll of toilet paper online or to buy a car online, so what do they want? They want brand lift. They want increased purchase intent and things like that. And when they target, they generally target by psychographics or demographics. They want moms who are 20-something years old and above, 2 kids and the like. So I think the question for the value an ad network can bring is, can they allow those kind of targeting? Obviously, this is not unique to ad networks. And I think my thesis is that ad networks can actually bring those targeting and optimization to bear, just by virtue of the fact that ad networks have more data. So,
from what we have seen, the ad networks that are dead are the dumb ones. I think there was a period of time where we're all going to be fat and happy and it's going to be easy to make money and we're going to print it out the back, right? But what we've learned is, if you don't have any value add that you can offer to the buy side, then you're probably not going to be successful. And so there's a ton of innovation in the ad network space right now, driven by companies like ScanScout and others, because there's so much competition. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the publishers. It's a good thing for the advertisers. And fundamentally, it's going to be a good thing for the consumers as well. So it's all about the intelligence and value add that's going to be provided to the buy side in particular.
And just to add, just to reiterate and agree, it's critical. What we hear back from our licensees and content providers is kind of a real fear of the kind of ads that are going to end up so tightly associated with their content, especially because it is clickable video and so contextually orientated. We're getting 1 to 3 clicks per viewer per minute, so people are receiving ad messages, based on, when they want them, but they're still receiving them, and if those messages aren't perfectly targeted, and so we're getting that back from our content providers and licensees, that fear. So I don't know necessarily, there's the problems with transparency and semi-transparency, and are they blind ad networks? And that certainly has some problems for advertisers. But I think from the publisher side too, there's definitely some fear with the networks.
So if I'm a small to medium-sized website, maybe I have a few 100,000 uniques a month or 1 million uniques a month, should I be looking, can I sell the ads on my own, or do I need to use an ad network? Like, what's the best way for me to monetize my site?
Banner advertising.
Video clicks.
No, I mean, seriously, or syncing up your banner advertising to your video. That's probably the best way to monetize your site. I mean, just look at the holistic picture. Don't just think of video as an entity. No, it's basically like a different. It's just another banner ad unit.
And am I going to be selling that myself, or am I too small to sell it myself? I should be looking to go with somebody else to sell the ads for me.
It partially depends on what kind of content you
Yeah.
have as well. It's
Comes back to the quality of the content.
yeah, it's fairly. You can do the back of the envelope calculation to see if it's worth actually paying an ad sales force to handle it for you.
Yeah, I think ad Salesforce in and of itself is extremely expensive. I think if you've got good niche content, but not enough scale, best is probably sponsorship.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. Let's talk a little bit. Most of the companies up here are service providers. I know we've got one content provider. I'm curious a little bit, without divulging any trade secrets or anything, what are the general business models in this area? I mean, it always seems like all I hear is revenue share, but the revenue's small. I mean, do you see this evolving? Maybe we won't talk today, but where do you see this going? I mean, will companies actually start to pay to license this technology and to pay for measurement, or is everything online still going to be revenue share for the time being? And then is there enough revenue to support all these companies? I guess, Mark, do you want to kick off the discussion?
Sure. I mean, I think all of us have rather different business models on here, and for better or worse, it's not a one-size-fits-all model. I mean, even in our case, we work with content owners, we work with publishers, and there are a load of different services that we provide. And so depending on what those services are, there are revenue share opportunities, there are CPM opportunities. It depends on the individual circumstance. So I mean, certainly, if for anyone here, I think if you're in a situation where you're providing a service that doesn't directly generate revenue, it's very hard to do revenue share. And so there are certain either cost per transaction or even just flat license fee structures that you can offer, but it really varies for every opportunity.
Yeah, I think it does really vary. We have customers that we're charging a monthly licensing fee for, and it's what value you add to them. If you could increase the number of views or the number of clicks to a product, there's value there. Others, it is purely a CPM type model. Sometimes it's just, service fees for designing custom players or the thing we did for the Jonas Brothers. We had a 54% engagement on that project. That was really a full-on engaged experience that they ran on their site that they paid us for. That had nothing to do with the number of views. That had nothing to do with the impressions they got. That was just a fixed fee.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's definitely a variety of different ways you approach making money for your company, and obviously, our goal at Video Clicks is to make money for our publishers and distributors. I mean, we put them front and center, and then of course we make money when you make money. So, but it's not just a revenue share situation. You have to keep the lights on. We all have to develop our technology. There's a cost, to make things happen. So we do offer a free product that allows people to get involved with Video Clicks and to monetize and start monetizing their video right away. But of course, we have enterprise license fees. We'll work off that way. And then, of course, there are some click charges. We're performance-based, and if our content and our technology and the engaging experience gets people to click, well, then, of course, we'll make some money as you make money because you've sold that ad through or linked it through our ad networks.
And Bettina, as the content provider, when you have all these companies come to you, are big companies now saying, I'd rather just pay and not share revenue, or would they rather say, no, I'm a big company, I'm just going to give you a little bit of whatever I make off of it?
Well, we're in an interesting position because we can't make money off of our content. Let me bring you into the craziness of theatrical finances.